we forward again. This is also Ice the Young Elder, and you should have knew this day was coming, right? This is ancient technology, advanced level, right? And on this class, we're gonna get into how some of our ships work, right? And a lot of this information gonna go over a lot of y'all head. But it's a lot of you who go overstand this information because you responsible for manning your position when the time comes. Because some of you are mechanics, some of you are into chemical transferring, some of you are scientists were aboard the ship. And now it's time that your memory be restored. So we must take you to the root of it. In order to understand our technology, you must first understand that which you're calling energy. Energy. The inner God within you, which is a part of us all, which is the all. The all. And there are 24 different types of energy, which mankind only utilize about 9 of them. The energy is stemming from that which you're calling the atom, right? And the atom breaks down into smaller parts called a quark, a biap, and a zilla. And these 3 things represent the political summit which took place prior to time. The quark breaks down into 9 parts, representing those who stood on the circle. Those beings who stood on the circle wrote these things into law, love, and it was explained up, here, in, middle, around, knowing, top, and calm. These things giving off a positive charge or a neutral charge, right? A lot of this shit gonna go over your head. The quark represents the protons, right? Which stand for the positive part of the atom, right? Because we told you the atom break down into 3 parts, right? So these 9 things were brought into play by the quark, which is a subatomic particle of an atom, right? Watch this. We're dealing with subatomic particles here. Those who represent the biap, right? Those who stood on the square, who in oppose, right, to those who stood on the circle said they would represent these 9 things. Fear, bottom, out, side, there, height, down, thin or straight, strange or unknown. These things giving off a negative charge called an electron, which is part of an atom, right? Then you have the zilla, which is the neutral, that which stands in the middle, right? And these things birth out of the 9 ether, giving you birth to the atom, igniting the first atom, which you're calling hydrogen. Hydrogen comes by way of 9 ether being cooled off, right? Creating, slowing the vibration down, giving you hydrogen. And then as it slows down more, giving you your elements, which is going to the negative, right? So the quark, the zilla, and the biap are the first subatomic particle, right? And then hydrogen become a -1 instead of +1. See, they teach you that hydrogen is +1, but it's really -1 because it's dropping in vibration. It's cooling off. As you cool elements off on this side of the mirror, you go negative. What does sub means? Below, right? Or sub-zero, right? Sub means below 0. Listen to what I'm telling you. So they've been teaching you on this side of the mirror, which is why they say 1 is hydrogen, which 1 really is -1. Once you jump onto the other side of the mirror, which your sun is in, right? When it takes the hydrogen, the little hydrogen that is trapped and burning, right? Because if you burn hydrogen, you cannot get helium. You only can cool hydrogen off to get helium. Because in order to go up on the element chart, go from 2 to 1, you have to heat it up. In order to go from 1 to 2, you have to cool it off. Get what I'm saying? So in the process of the sun releasing the energy, releasing that light, it is the process of the little hydrogen atoms that are trapped being heated up extremely and speed up to a vibration to what they make pure light, right? Which is why when you see our ships on this side of the mirror, they sometimes appear as a ball of light, right? Because they are vibrating faster than the hydrogen atom, right? Which is the lightest atom on this side of the mirror, which is really -1, right? Or really -4, right? Because you have 3 parts that are smaller than the hydrogen atom. So the higher you go on the element chart on this side of the mirror, you're going sub, you're going below. Once you go higher than hydrogen onto the other side of the mirror, you're going in hyper, what they calling hyper, right? Which they have no knowledge of, right? They don't know no thing. It's no thing. They don't have no knowledge of no thing because they only can count for what they're calling something which starts with 1, which is really -1, called hydrogen. You say, give you an example, element on the other side of the mirror, a positive. Sound. Sound is an element on the other side of the mirror because sound is vibrating at a higher speed. It's vibrating at a higher speed, right? Sound is vibrating at a higher speed. Light, right? Thought. These are elements that come from the other side of the mirror, right? When you get past vibrating past hydrogen. Like I say, these are elements that also can be utilized, energies that also can be utilized and converted into other energies. You see what I'm saying? Because sound can be converted into energy, right? Light, which they already started doing, light into energy. And the thing about these devils, when we start revealing some of this knowledge to them, the first thing they want to do is create a weapon out of it, right? The first thing they want to do, when we introduced them to the other side of the mirror, introduced them to sound, they made a weapon that can fly faster than the speed of sound. They even made weapons that use sound to disorientate or to make dizzy they created a weapon out of it and they put it on their helmets, right? Every time when we gave him nuclear technology, when we passed nuclear technology down to him, right? He took it and he made it. The first thing he went and did is made a weapon out of it, right? When we gave him atomic technology, the first thing he do is make a weapon out of it. Not nothing that will save humanity, something that will total annihilation, that will wipe out humanity, right? This is why we're not gonna let him get a hold to certain things, because we know that the first thing he gonna do when we give him certain technology is create a weapon out of it. So you'll never be able to figure out our technology, right? And I ain't gonna even tell you everything in this tape. I'm only gonna give you a little bit, right? Because we know what you all about and we know that you listen. You say prove to you that you're in the negative, right? When they take a picture, what frame do they keep? The negative. Why? Right? That's because your physical vessel, in order to get a picture of your physical vessel, which is made up of elements on the negative side, right? On the slow side, hydrogen, helium, oxygen, right? Gold. These are the things on the negative side of the mirror, right? Which is why they keep the negative frame. Ask yourself this: which one is vibrating faster, solid or gas? Once you figure that out, then understand, are you speeding up in vibration as you go from 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on? Or are you slowing down in vibration? Because hydrogen is vibrating faster than helium, and helium is vibrating faster than oxygen. And oxygen is vibrating faster than gold. So you are slowing down in vibration. You are decreasing in speed and in temperature, becoming a solid, right? So you are on the negative side. Once you speed past hydrogen, right, then you go into hyper, right, which is the positive side. Which is why when you experience what they're calling death, you cannot take the physical vessel back to the other side, because the physical vessel is a product of this side of the mirror, which is the negative, right? So the physical vessel is left on this side, while the essence of you, which is vibrating higher or faster than hydrogen, which is a product of the other side of the mirror, returns to its original state. And you stupid fools over at Lockheed and S4, Area 51, trying to synthesize element 115, you people are slow. By trying to synthesize element 115, you are descending in the evolution process, because you are going down on the element chart instead of going up, fool. So how low can you go? Every time you try to synthesize another element, we laugh. You're descending farther and farther until you reach down into the pits of hell. I'll tell you what, we who are feeling good today, we'll let y'all synthesize all the way to 169, which is so unstable, it's gonna 69 your ass right off to space. So in order to understand our science and our technology, you must understand these things. This is why we're bringing this to you. A lot of this shit gonna go over y'all head, right? I'm trying to teach this the best way I can, man. You know, got some atomic gold that will be arriving today. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get them things rolling so we can get back up to speed here, right? So the combination of these things gives birth to the atom, birthing out of the non-ether, right? Which is the high vibration. And keep in mind that these things, the quark, the zillip, right, the biap, these things are constantly vibrating and rotating around each other, right, as we speak. As your planet is rotating around your sun, right? Your sun would be the nucleus. The planets would be the protons and neutrons, which are orbiting the sun, right? And on a much larger scale, your sun rotating around your center galaxy. And a larger scale than that, your galaxy rotating around another centerpiece, right? And that your universe rotating around another centerpiece. So we can go on and on. The universe is constantly in a circle of motion. So is everything around you. So are molecules. Even though they appear to be still, they are still vibrating, right? So molecules, right? Molecules is a combination of atoms being brought together. But we'll get into that, right? But now we're dealing with the atom, and we're going inside of the atom, showing you the different charges of the atom, right? You have a negative charge and a positive charge and a neutral charge, right? Of the ground, right? And the ground is where the source of the energy is, right? The ground, the 0 point, right? So understand atoms come together and create molecules, right? Then molecules can be put together to create chemicals, right? Such as paint, right? And so paint has atoms in it, has molecules in it, right? And paint has the genetical code of the quark written into it, which is up, right? Up is a part of the quark. So you wouldn't be able to put paint up on your wall without the quark. A lot of this shit gonna go over y'all head, right? But a lot of y'all gonna catch it, those who's supposed to catch it, right? Because you're gonna man your position. You follow me? So you understand that everything has atoms in it, right? Even the air. Everything has atoms in it. Right? So everything has a negative and a positive in it, right? That's a fact. That's the truth, right? That's the fact and the truth, right? That every living thing, every possible thing has a negative charge and a positive charge plus the neutral charge, right? So the lightest element on the element chart, according to them, right, is hydrogen, which has one negative charge, one positive charge, right? And as we add on negative charge or positive charges, we begin to move up the periodical element chart, right? Creating more different types of atoms, right? Going all the way up to helium, oxygen. And as we go up, we're really going down because we're on the negative side of the mirror, right? So as we go up in the element chart, the elements begin to get heavier, right? Which is why a balloon full of helium floats in your atmosphere, because in your atmosphere, the air is made of oxygen, which is heavier than helium, argon, which is heavier than helium, nitrogen, which is heavier than helium, and carbon, or CO2, which is heavier than helium. So helium is lighter than your air because it is higher, vibrating higher on the element chart, right? It's vibrating faster and not slower. Thus, the molecules of helium, or the atom of helium, floats up out of your atmosphere. Hydrogen would do the same thing because it is lighter, right, than your air. See what I'm saying? So I want you to just understand where we're going here, try to get in your head on how this thing works. So you must understand these things. Understand that these different atoms or these different elements are used to generate energy, right? And we are the gaseous people, right? The non-ethereal people, right? The people who have soul power, right? The true ignition of energy and not the definition, right? Because we're not trying to keep you deaf. And we're not trying to stop something in your brain from being ignited. We are trying to ignite you. So the true ignition of energy is the utilization of atoms and the transfer or conversion of molecules, right? Which can be in form of chemical reaction, right? So with that being said, there are 24 different types of energy, right? Like we say, man has been able to utilize about 9 of these, right? And this is as far as they've been able to get, right? They are still a type 0 civilization, right? The hydrogen atom comes about by way of the non-ether vibration slowing down and cooling off. And this is the first song, right? Because before then there were no things, right? Which is 9 ether, which slows down to become something, right? Becomes a 1 on the periodical chart, which is hydrogen. Right? So understand that 9 ether is a combination of 9 gases which vibrates together on a higher level, but when slowed down creates these different elements. And as you go higher on the element chart, the vibration slows down, because we told you about the solid liquid gas concept and how molecules work. In a solid, the molecules are jam tight, packed together. As you begin to heat these molecules or these atoms up, they begin to vibrate faster, right? Turn into liquid, vibrating faster into the gas, right? So we just want to get you to understand atoms and element, and understand that they are all vibrating, right? And like we say, you cool things off, you slow down the vibration, you heat things up, you speed up the vibration. This is thermal energy, right? Thermal energy or heat energy by way of heating things. Mankind discovers this by way of friction, rubbing 2 sticks together to create a fire, create a form of energy, right? Heat, right? Later on, being able to heat things up and then use this heat in a process, right, to alter molecules. Because when you burn something, right, it takes, when you burn oxygen, create CO2, right, which is 1 carbon atom and 2 oxygen atoms, right? So the oxygen is still there. So carbon can be cooled off and converted into oxygen and even into water and create oxygen again, right? You can burn helium, right, which in turn speeds it up, speeds its vibration up, turn it into hydrogen, right? But you also can cool hydrogen off back into helium, which is the process that your sun is going through. Because your sun, it burns helium into hydrogen. As the hydrogen tries to escape into the atmosphere around the sun, it is cooled off and turned back into helium and ignited again. And this process goes over and over again into your sun. So it is a process of altering molecules or altering atoms, right? The process of altering atoms is the process of your sun, where helium burns and the vibration is sped up. Because we told you if you heat things up, the vibration is sped up. And helium is 2 being sped up to 1, right? And then 1 is hurled off and hurled off because we got this sun trapped in a sphere. And as the hydrogen tries to escape in the cool air, because around your sun it is 270 degrees, right? Around your sun it is negative 270 degrees in space. Hydrogen has a boiling point of negative 252 degrees Celsius or negative 420 degrees Fahrenheit. This means that hydrogen can be boiled at a low temperature. Being that hydrogen atoms are vibrating the fastest, right? They begin to boil at a low temperature. And as you go up, or better yet down, because hydrogen is really -1, as you go down on the element chart, right, the elements become heavier and the boiling point, right, becomes higher, right? For instance, gold boiling point is about around 4,892 degrees in Fahrenheit to boil. So the temperature must be extremely high to melt gold. Versus hydrogen, the temperature can be extremely low at its boiling point. You must understand these things in order to understand our technology and how it works.